Welcome to A Moment of Zen. Time to sit back and relax as model, actress, mentor, and supermom Zen Sams takes you on a sexy and wild ride, covering the latest in film, fashion, pop culture, cryptocurrency, fintech, cannabis, and entertainment from the millennial mom's perspective. Here's your host, Zen Sams.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to episode 207, celebrating 5 years on the air. Here's to another exciting episode. It's always such a pleasure to spend my time with you on the airwaves. Thank you for tuning in every Saturday night and engaging with me on social media afterwards. That truly makes it all worthwhile. Please continue to follow me at Zen Sams. That's Zen with an X, not a Z. XENSAMS. And remember, all episodes are available on our YouTube channel. We release Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern via digital streaming. And you can always check us out on your home TV platform at mox.yourhometv.com. In the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, our guest is Natalie Weaver, a wife, mother, and relentless disability rights advocate. Her journey began with her daughter, Sophia, whose medical challenges and facial differences made her a target of online hate. She co-founded Advocates for Medically Fragile Kids, North Carolina, and launched Sophia's Voice. Though Sophia passed away in 2019, Natalie continues to amplify her daughter's legacy, fighting for a more inclusive and compassionate world. Tonight, we're going to hear her story, one of love, loss, and unwavering determination. We're chatting a mother's unbreakable voice and how Natalie Weaver turned heartbreak into hope for medically fragile children. In our Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift, today we're joined by esteemed facialist Taylor Worden, founder of Taylor Worden Skin, right here in downtown New York City. She joins me to chat all about her skincare philosophy and her celebrity clients' favorite game-changing treatments and products like the CO2 Lift Carboxy Gel Mask. In the Polished Beauty segment, contributor Dr. Daisy Aim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN, is joined by fitness expert Dallas Radke, better known as Fit Mom of 7 on Instagram. She's a 61-year-old fitness expert, certified personal trainer with over 30 years of experience helping women over 40 reclaim their strength, confidence, and vitality. She's here to break down how muscle loss affects both the body and the face and what we can do to stop it. In our FinTech TV exclusive segment, host Remy Blair sits down with Nakia Cook, founder and CEO of NC Accounting and Consulting Solutions, to celebrate Women's History Month and share her journey, the impact of financial literacy, and how her work is shaping the future for entrepreneurs. Stay tuned for Natalie Weaver in the Hydration with Heart segment, chatting facial differences, online hate, and keeping Sophia's legacy alive. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Hydration with Heart segment. Today we have one inspiring headliner, a mother's unbreakable voice, how Natalie Weaver turned heartbreak into hope for medically fragile children. We're going to be chatting with her and take a deep dive into a story of resilience, advocacy, and the power of a mother's love. Natalie Weaver is a wife, a mama, and a relentless disability rights advocate from Charlotte, North Carolina. Her journey began with her daughter, Sophia, whose medical challenges and facial differences made her a target of online hate. But instead of retreating, Natalie chose to fight. She co-founded Advocates for Medically Fragile Kids, North Carolina, and launched Sophia's Voice, which is a nonprofit dedicated to ensuring equal healthcare access for children with medical complexities. Her advocacy has reached the highest levels, garnering recognition from President Obama and national media, from People magazine to CNN and even the Today Show. Though Sophia passed away in 2019, Natalie continues to amplify her daughter's legacy, fighting for a more inclusive and compassionate world. Today, we'll hear her story, one of love, loss, and unwavering determination. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I am in awe of your strength, your resilience, and more importantly, Sophia's story. So let's talk about the moment that changed everything. The moment a parent receives a life-altering diagnosis for their child is one that just reshapes everything. And studies show that families of medically fragile children face enormous emotional, financial, and systemic challenges, yet many feel invisible in the broader healthcare conversation. Can you take us back to the moment you realized Sophia's journey would be different and how that realization shaped your mission?
Yeah, so I my entire life wanted to be a mom. That's the one thing I knew that I always wanted to be. And my husband and I, we got pregnant. We were over the moon. We did all of the things you're supposed to do and decorating the nursery. We had ultrasounds. We were told everything was fine. And so for 34 weeks of my pregnancy, we thought everything was fine. The life that we had planned for ourselves and our child was set in motion and it was about to happen. And then at 34 weeks pregnant, I had an ultrasound. And I remember the tech leaving the room and getting the doctor and thinking, this is not good. And my husband wasn't with me because we thought everything's fine. We're, getting through this and it's almost happening. And the doctor came in and said, we have to rush you to a high level ultrasound right now. There's an artifact in front of her face. We don't know what we're looking at. And my husband came and picked me up. And there we spent 2 hours with two specialists looking at Sophia through an ultrasound. And they finally told us that she would be born with severe facial differences and differences to her hands, her feet, and that she might not be able to breathe on her own or survive birth. So at that moment, the floor fell out from beneath us. Everything we had planned and hoped for and dreamed of was gone in an instant. And I just remember being in complete shock and riding home in silence with my husband because I couldn't even gather a sentence. And I honestly did not think I would be strong enough or capable to handle losing a child or to handle being the mother to a disabled child. I didn't think I was strong enough. And there was a moment that I didn't want to continue on. And I had no choice but to face what was to come, which was unknown and scary. And we went through 4 weeks. I made the decision, I'm going to fight. I'm going to be strong for my baby. And we had Sophia, and miraculously, she was able to breathe on her own. And I didn't get to hold her until that night in the NICU. And the moment I held her, I felt the power of unconditional love and the strength that a mother has for her child. And I promised her that I would be the mother that she needed me to be.
Wow. Wow. Bringing tears to my eyes. Your ability to channel heartbreak into advocacy is just beyond inspiring. And it's one thing to fight for your own child, but another to take on the battle for so many others like you're doing right now. Let's chat from social media hate to national advocacy, because that's the highlight here. In a world where online platforms have literally become both a megaphone for activism and a breeding ground for cruelty, your experience with cyber hate is unfortunately something many marginalized communities face. The CDC reports that 1 in 4 US adults lives with a disability, yet digital spaces often fail to protect them. So you faced unimaginable hate online because of Sophia's facial differences. What was the turning point that pushed you to not just fight back, but actively work with social media companies to drive real change?
Yeah. So, first, when I would take my daughter out into society, it was very clear that she wasn't accepted, and I would experience cruelty in real time. And we chose to remain private until I had no choice and I had to fight for my daughter's life-saving healthcare. And in order to do that, I had to share our story. And like you said, that exposed us to an extreme amount of hate. I knew people would be unkind, but I did not know the depth of hatred that they would have for me and my child for fighting for her life-saving healthcare. We received death threats, violent comments, death wishes, and just taunting and cruelty. And I had a moment where I saw someone stole Sophia's image and he was using it to promote eugenics. And this was on Twitter at the time. And I remember seeing that and just crying and thinking, I can't do this anymore. This is horrible. After the hate, it builds and you try to remain strong. And it was another one of those moments where I said, I can't keep doing this. And then I said, you know what? I am going to keep doing this, and I'm going to change this for my daughter. She really gave me the strength to fight and to find my voice. And so I reported it. I asked my large community of followers to report it, and Twitter came back and said, this is not a violation of our policy. And so I created a huge campaign that went viral throughout the entire world, exposing them for not removing this vile hatred off of their site, for allowing them to use my child's image and to promote eugenics and violence. And finally, after about a month, they came back and said, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We are including disability in our reporting tools. Many times there's not even a place to report hate speech toward disabled people. And so the healthcare fight had dissolved a bit. And so I started to put my focus on social media giants and the hate speech that they allow. Wow. And so I worked with the head of Instagram and just telling them that this is an issue. These are things that we need to change. You need to make changes to better protect people online and give them tools to protect themselves.
That takes an incredible amount of strength, Natalie. Instead of letting those cruel voices silence you, you amplified your message even louder. And that's real power, my dear. Right. That's meaningful. Let's chat the broken system for medically fragile children. So despite all these medical advancements, children with complex health needs, the special health necessities, often face a system riddled with just a ton of barriers, whether it's insurance roadblocks, lack of at-home nursing, or accessibility gaps. In fact, when you look at the studies, it shows that families of medically fragile children spend an average of 40 hours a week coordinating care, essentially another full-time job. So what are some of the biggest failures in our healthcare system when it comes to medically fragile kids, and what real changes need to happen?
Well, currently it's been passed through the House to cut the budget for Medicaid. And what people don't realize is disabled children rely on Medicaid for life-saving care. People don't understand that private insurance does not cover many of the basic necessities that keep our children alive. They won't cover wheelchairs and medical equipment, in-home nursing. And a lot of people don't realize that. We had top of the line private insurance, and we would get denials for those types of things. And it's standard that they don't cover care that goes beyond the typical care. And so I hope that people realize how important Medicaid is. They offer programs. It's called a home and community-based service that provides coverage for their private, for the things that private insurance won't, like in-home nursing. Basically, we were able to set up a hospital-like setting in our home so that our daughter didn't have to live in a hospital or an institution. And we need these services. We don't need them taken away. Cutting budgets to Medicaid will put these optional programs at a high risk and these children's lives at a risk. And as you mentioned, parents are able to work. They're able to sleep with these programs. They are able to contribute to society. And if we didn't have these programs, it would actually cost taxpayers more money if our children were forced to live in institutions and hospitals to receive the basic care that they need to survive.
Wow, that's so sad. It's staggering to think how much families have to fight just for basic care. I mean, no parent should have to be both a full-time advocate and a full-time caretaker, but that's the reality, right?
Yes.
So Sophia's legacy lives on. Here we go, mama. I mean, you've done such a great job, but losing a child is an unimaginable pain, but you've continued to make Sophia's name a symbol of change. Her legacy now reaches far beyond what most people accomplish in a lifetime. How does Sophia's voice keep her spirit alive? And what do you hope people take away when they hear her story?
Well, first, a lot of people love Sophia and they donate to Sophia's Voice so that I can help other disabled people receive the medical equipment they need, medication, basic necessities. And every time I do that, I feel like I'm sending a little bit of Sophia's love out into the world. But we raise awareness by sharing our story. And Sophia's life has had a huge impact on me, and I want her life to have a huge impact on others so that we can change our views of beauty and just compassion and empathy.
That is the most beautiful way to honor her, by the way, by ensuring that children like Sophia are seen, heard, and protected. I mean, her voice lives on through yours, and that's just beautiful and so profound. So let's chat supporting families like yours, right? One of the hardest parts of this journey is that many families feel isolated without a roadmap or any support system. And having been through it yourself, you understand better than anyone what they need. So, for parents currently navigating a medically complex diagnosis for their child, what advice or resources would you offer them?
Well, first, I would say look into Medicaid's home and community based services so that they are getting the coverage that they need to keep their child safe and getting all of their basic medical needs met. But my biggest thing is community. And we have the internet, which does really wonderful things and it connects you to people who understand. And having connection during these times, because no matter how many people you have in your life supporting you, it is a lonely place. And when you have parents that understand what you are going through, it changes everything. And I would also say, accept support when people are offering you support. I often pushed people away and like, no, I don't want to be a bother, but, accept support when people are offering it to you and to trust your instincts on doctors and diagnosis and push. No one knows your child better than you do.
That's incredibly valuable, Natalie. I mean, just knowing they're not alone and that there are people fighting for them makes a world of difference. So let's chat exactly that, fighting for change at the national level. You've taken your advocacy all the way to national platforms, gaining recognition from President Obama. That's huge. But policy change is a long game and progress is often slow. What's next in your fight for disability rights and healthcare reform? How can we support the movement?
Yeah, so the fight for healthcare has just begun again. It was quiet for a while. Honestly, my work has changed a lot due to my grief. I'm not as hardcore and strong as I used to be. Maybe I am, and maybe I'll find that strength again. But my fight nowadays is a bit more quiet. But the ways that you can support is to call your Congress member and let them know that you are against cuts to Medicaid. You can share stories of people with facial differences to help normalize and to teach your children about others with facial differences, make it a part of your daily lives. There's so many ways that we can make this world more accepting and kind, and that will hopefully reflect the policies that people care about. So everyone can do their part. And it really does start at home, teaching your children about people with facial differences and disabilities. And the internet, again, there are so many amazing disabled people and people with facial differences online, so generous to share their lives and to educate and raise awareness.
Change doesn't happen overnight, but your work is definitely making waves. The more voices join this fight, the harder it is to ignore it, right? So we'll keep
Yeah.
pushing. So a message for the world. Your story has reached so many people. I mean, from parents to policymakers, but at the heart of it, your mission is about empathy, inclusion, and human dignity. If you could leave the world with one message about children like Sophia, what would it be?
It's going to make me emotional.
Take your time.
My daughter was an amazing human being. And a lot of people won't get to see that because they look at what's on the surface. But beauty goes far beyond the surface. And when we take the time to get to know someone with facial differences or disabilities or who is not like us, it really opens our heart. It teaches us compassion and kindness and inclusion and acceptance. It makes us better people. Sophia made me a better person, and she enriched my life in a way that will live on forever. She's enriched so many people's lives. And I just hope that you take the time to get to know people with disabilities and facial differences, and your world will open up. And it's a beautiful place to be able to accept other human beings that are not like us and live in less judgment and more kindness.
That's such a powerful truth, Natalie. And every child deserves love, respect, and a fair shot at life. And your work ensures they get exactly that. I'm very, very proud to know you and to have gotten to interview you. I thank you so much for sharing your journey, your wisdom, and more importantly, Sophia's light with us.
Thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to share our story.
For those of you that want to support Sophia's voice, definitely head to sophiasvoice.com and follow Natalie on Instagram at Natalie C. Weaver. This has been the Hydration with Heart segment brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut, because the best things in life are fueled by love, passion, and purpose. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after this. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Once Upon a Coconut.
Discover the refreshing taste of 100% pure coconut water that actually tastes great. Naturally sweet with no artificial flavors or added sugar. It's packed with electrolytes to keep you hydrated throughout your day. And with 10% of profits going to charity, every sip makes a difference. Pure taste, pure goodness. Experience nature's Gatorade. Visit Once Upon a Coconut or naturesgatorade.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming streaming 24/7.
The Kelly Williams Show is brought to you by Serendipity Yacht Cruises and Events. Tune in and turn on your happy. Kelly Williams is full of energy and incredible guests. Watch her anytime, free programming on Your Home TV network, and do follow her on social media for a chance to win monthly prizes. Check out The Kelly Williams Show on yourhometv.com.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Up next in the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift, today we're joined by esteemed facialist Taylor Worden. After years of hard work and training under the cult favorite facialist Georgia Louise, Taylor finally realized her vision of opening up something of her own and founded Taylor Worden Skin right here in downtown New York City. Here, you can still feel the heart of old New York, but with a new and updated twist. And that's exactly her goal, to make anyone's skin feel and look like a better version of their former self. She joins me today to chat all about her skincare philosophy and her clients' favorite game-changing treatments and products, like, of course, none other than the CO2 Lift Carboxy Gel Mask. Seems to keep repeating as a top favorite. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So excited to have you. Let's dive right in. So you're located right here in New York City, which is considered one of the hubs for the aesthetic industry, putting you in a great place surrounded by both seemingly endless experts and consumers. But it doesn't just come without its challenges when trying to stand out in a crowded market. Could you describe your skincare philosophy and, in a sea of estheticians, what sets your tailor-made approach apart from other facialists in the industry?
So I do tailor-made facials. So basically I do what your skin needs. I have people that come in and they tell me what they want. That might not be the best for their skin type or like what their goals are. I just do what their skin needs. So that's what happens.
You speak to the skin. I love it. You connect.
Yeah.
You're like, I know your wish list, but this is what I recommend. I
Okay.
love that approach. Now, you're well known for stocking only the best masks and skincare gadgets for your clients in your toolbox. But one product you've consistently raved about, both for its monotherapy and combo therapy benefits, is the CO2 Lift Carboxy Gel Mask. And it's been highlighted in several new beauty articles and sharing videos online with your followers, calling it your favorite face mask of all time. That's a huge endorsement. How did you first discover CO2 Lift, and what about it makes it such a game changer?
It's one of my favorite products that I've ever tried. I'm actually not even sure how I found it. I don't know if it was online or one of the skincare shows, but I tried it and it changes your skin. It's a 180. It definitely changes your skin. Helps everything from pore size, from hydration, from melasma, everything from if you have diabetes, it helps like with any wound healing. I did it on my face and you see the results immediately. And when you do a series of them, you see even better results. So when you apply it on your skin, they say to wear it from like 30 to 40 minutes. I always leave it on a little bit longer and then you take it off and you see results right away. But when you continue to do it, a couple more treatments, you see even better results.
Yeah, it starts to stack up. And as someone with so many celebrity and loyal clients, you provide top tier treatments in office, but maintaining that great skin ultimately just depends on their at home routine. That's extremely important. So, what do you recommend to clients to care for their skin between visits? And are there any routines or products, whether it's CO2 Lift or any others, that can help extend and enhance that post facial glow until their next appointment?
So if there's a red carpet or big event, I always say the CO2 Lift. There's another one that I call that Cell Story. It's a liquid microneedling, which you see results. It's basically the same results of microneedling, but there's no numbing, no downtime, no blood. It basically makes your skin really tight. And then I'm obsessed with the Omnilux mask. Doing that a couple times a week. It's the red light therapy that changes your skin as well. So.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to highlight that when it comes to skincare, often, less is more. People tend to overcomplicate things, and there are a million products and treatments on the market. The key to healthy, glowing skin often lies in simplicity and focusing on just a few powerhouse products, like you said, and treatments like the CO2 do make all the difference. But still, with trends in the aesthetic field consistently changing, which popular products or technologies, more importantly, do you see sticking around long term?
The PDRN, so basically the salmon sperm, I think the microneedling with that or the cream, I've done it on myself. I do see great results with that. I think the LED light, I think at home or in office, microneedling or liquid microneedling, and then the CO2.
And then the CO2.
Yeah.
Wow, you've given us so much great advice throughout this interview. But lastly, before we wrap up here, what are your top 3 simple skincare tips that everyone listening should follow?
So I guess it would be to wear sunscreen every single day, rain or shine. Do everything on your face as you would do on your neck and décolleté. So face, neck, and décolleté. And then my third one would be start to take care of vaginal and scalp care.
Yeah, because that also,
Yeah.
it matters.
Yeah. And CO2 actually created a vaginal mask that you can insert, and it helps with lubrication and everything. It does everything for your face, but for that area, which is
For your skin down there. Yeah, the CO2 Lift Vulva Vaginal Rejuvenation Treatment is incredible. I know
amazing results.
they have the single treatment, and then they have the 5-pack. I used it. So I typically get yeast infections after antibiotics. I just do. My body's like, boom, right? And
Mhm.
so I usually get that one pill, the diflucan. And then this time I'm like, let me just use the CO2. Totally took all the symptoms away. So it
Oh, that's
was
amazing.
fantastic. Fantastic. It
Yeah.
was great. I didn't have to resort to big pharma,
Yeah.
which, if you could do less of these days, it goes a long way.
Yeah. It works
But
better than the Mona Lisa laser. So
you're right. You're 100% right. And a friend of mine who just had a labiaplasty, she just used the V
to help
after,
heal her.
and it helped so much. She said it was a cooling sensation. It was just great. So yeah, you're right. All around great product. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been great. And I love how we ended the conversation.
Thank you for having me.
That was our Going Deep segment, brought to you by CO2 Lift, and that was the incredible Taylor Worden. Definitely check out Taylor's Skin, where she is making her New York City glow one facial at a time, and learn more about it at taylorwarden.com. And be sure to follow her on the gram at Taylor Worden Skin to catch every hashtag Mask Monday, and never miss out on her expert skincare tips. This was the Going Deep segment brought to you by CO2 Lift. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by CO2 Lift. As we age, our skin loses moisture and elasticity, causing wrinkled skin. You can reverse this aging process with CO2 Lift. CO2 Lift utilizes the powerful benefits of carbon dioxide to lift, tighten, and regenerate your skin. This simple, painless at-home carboxy therapy treatment is scientifically proven to reverse the aging process. You will see reduction in wrinkles, increase luminosity, and improve pigmentation, sagging, skin tone, and radiance.
For more information or to order CO2 Lift, ask your skincare professional or go to co2lift.com.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Fieldhouse in Northvale, New Jersey, a vibrant and fresh take on youth and adult sports and family fun, and home to the New Jersey Thunder softball program. Plan unforgettable birthday parties or private events, or explore camps and programs that keep kids active and inspired. Take time for yourself in adult leagues or rent a field or court with friends. From a cutting-edge gaming cave to hitting and pitching centers and top-tier sports instructors, the Fieldhouse is reigniting the next generation of play. Head to njfieldhouse.com.
Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Polished Beauty segment, where we break down the science of beauty, health, and longevity with real experts, where beauty meets brains. I'm your host, Zen Sams, alongside my go-to expert in aesthetic and wellness, co-contributor, Dr. Daisy Aim. She's a triple board certified cosmetic surgeon and OBGYN. Today, we're diving into a topic that affects every single woman over 40, yet most don't even realize it's happening. The silent muscle loss crisis, why your face and body are both drooping, and how to fight back. We always hear about muscle loss in the body as we age, but what if I told you that your face is also losing muscle? That's right, just like your arms, legs, and core, the muscles in your face weaken, shrink, and lose structure over time. The result? Drooping cheeks, sagging jawlines, and a tired, aged appearance. So, how do we fight back? Well, our guest today is living proof that aging doesn't have to mean losing strength or definition. Dallas Radke, better known as Fit Mom of 7 on Instagram, is a 61-year-old fitness expert and certified personal trainer with over 30 years of experience helping women over 40 reclaim their strength, confidence, and vitality. She's here to break down how muscle loss affects both the body and the face and what we can do to stop it. Welcome to the show, superstar.
Thank you for having me back. Good morning, Dr. Daisy.
Hi, Dallas. Nice to meet you. I'm excited.
Likewise.
All right, Dallas, most women think of muscle loss as something that happens to their arms or legs, but they just don't realize the face is affected too. Can you explain how facial muscles weaken over time and why this contributes to the visible aging signs?
Yes, and well, just like the muscles in your arms and legs, the muscles in your face lose strength and volume over time. And, this just happens with natural aging and less collagen production. Just like the body muscles, facial muscles can strengthen. We can strengthen them as well. But it's all about maintaining the muscle. It's like building it, and everything we want to do, everything we can to maintain the muscle once we built it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Dallas, when women start losing muscles on their face, what is like the first sign they notice? Because that's something they're going to ask, like, what do I look for? And also, are there any warning signs that they should start looking for in their younger years?
Sagging cheeks, the hollowing under the eyes, your lips get a little bit thinner. Your eyebrows start to drop slightly. Once again, you want to make sure that I just feel like exercise is the answer to everything, and building and maintaining that muscle.
So if the face and body are both losing muscle, does that mean that the traditional strength training can actually help prevent sagging in the face? Do we need a different approach? Are there facial exercises that you recommend? Because I've heard that can help as well, or modulators that can help tighten the muscle on the face?
When you lift weights, you preserve muscle everywhere, including your face. Strength training actually boosts collagen production, which keeps your skin firm. But, you can use those little stones, those gua sha stones you can do for the jawline. That actually is a lymphatic massage to release toxins, which will help with the stimulation of collagen. But there's I'm sure there's muscle exercise or facial exercises you can do to strengthen the muscles in your face. you can look them. I don't necessarily do them myself, to be honest with you. I just focus on strength training my entire body. But there are, science has proven that you can strengthen the muscles in your face.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Dr. Daisy, this is up your alley. This is what you do. You are in the gym every time I see you. And most people would never connect strength training with anti-aging for the face, but both Dallas and you, Dr. Daisy, are living proof.
Yeah, I mean, they're both connected. When you're working your muscles, you think you're focusing on that tricep or abs, but you're actually straining the face and that's strengthening your muscles. So they all work together simultaneously. And there are specific exercises that you can just focus on the face if you want to target those muscles. But I think, for the general public, if you just go and work out strength in the total body, you will benefit your face as well. Dallas, I want to know, with protein, there's a lot of talk and conversation, and women often want to get on protein. What is the suggestion you have for women that are seeking to get protein in their diet? And also, what would be the recommendation?
Well, protein is crucial for maintaining muscle mass in your face and your body. And most women, I'd say almost all women don't get enough protein daily. And right now, I think the recommendation, or just in general, is about 0.6 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So it's about 100, I'm 128 pounds. I try and aim for 120 grams of protein a day. And it's difficult. It does take some work, but it's really important because it supports collagen and skin elasticity. It boosts recovery and strength. And once again, you need that to build the muscle. So protein's crucial.
Especially in the menopausal women category, without a doubt.
100%. But if you get into the habit of doing it when you're younger, which is what I teach my girls or my kids, in your 20s and 30s, don't wait until you're in your 40s and 50s to start, building muscle. Do it when you're younger so you maintain that foundation.
I love it. Now, I know Dr. Daisy, you have another question, right?
Yes. So for the women that are already experiencing sagging, and that's literally most women in their perimenopause, menopause year, is it possible to rebuild facial muscle later in life or to prevent it? Is there anything you suggest?
You know what? I believe it's the same thing. Like I said, with our body, I think that we need to, from a younger age, but it's never too late. When you're in your 40s and 50s, if you start strength training, I believe that building muscle is crucial. And then once you start building it, do everything you can to maintain it. But with that being said, I'm going to be totally transparent. If you haven't followed me, and my followers already know this, and you're a plastic surgeon, I had a lower face lift 2 years ago because I've noticed over time that I was losing volume. I mean, genetically, I think as I've aged, I've got a little bit leaner too. I've been pushing heavier weight, so I'm building more muscle. So I've actually leaned out more, built more muscle, lost some body fat. And, you lose the volume in your face. And I was noticing the sagging. And it was like that jawline was sagging and there was nothing that I could do. I mean, I was doing everything I could with strength training and maintaining my muscle, but you can't do, it wasn't changing my skin. So I went in and had the lower facelift just to remove the excess skin. So
yeah, I'm going to be right behind you when I get there, right behind you. I already said it. If there's one plastic procedure, like plastic surgery, it's a facelift.
Yeah, I didn't do anything above my eyes, but it was just like this started sinking. And every time I saw a picture, I would look in the mirror. I was like, oh my gosh, I feel great. I'm strong. I'm maintaining my muscle. I'm doing everything I can. I'm eating healthy, but you can't turn the clock back on skin. You can do it to a certain point. You maintain the muscle, but there's only so much you can do for your skin. And so I was like, I can't turn the clock on the sagging right now. So I went and had it done. So.
Yeah. I mean, the good thing is now, faceless is an option, obviously, for your lower face and neck, but you have 2 devices in the market that actually can give you some drastic results that's almost facelift-like, but not quite, for someone that's seeking minimally invasive. And off record, this is not a promotion or anything, but, if you're looking at like radiofrequency device or helium-based devices, those 2 will really give you some drastic results. The other ones, it's kind of like... Small.
Is that a laser that you're speaking of?
No, it's not a laser. So FaceTite by InMode, that's a really good one that can give you some good lower face changes, and also Renuvion. Those 2, I would say you will really get results. The other ones in the market, they're very small changes.
Yeah. It's
I
interesting.
love that. I love that. And a lot of women over 40 struggle with energy loss, not just physical changes. And strength training, Dallas, actually boosts energy levels, as you know, and you've been promoting, and helps with things
Yeah.
like brain fog and fatigue. What does your training routine look like at your age? Give me a day to day.
Well, my routine is, like I said, I focus on building muscle. So 3 days a week, I focus on strength training. And then one day a week, I do a high intensity workout because I still like to really push myself hard and really break a sweat, get my heart rate up, and like really push myself outside my comfort zone. And all those little days in between, I focus on flexibility, mobility, and balance. A lot of balance, because when I start doing balance exercises, I realize, oh my gosh, this is difficult. So just simple things like just standing on one leg while I'm brushing my teeth. When I'm in the kitchen drinking my coffee, I'm standing on one leg, just like little things like that. So, I do like a workouts 5 or 6 days a week because I love it. It just makes me feel good. I don't feel like it's a punishment. And then, on a Sunday, I might be like just going for an extra long walk and maybe doing some extra stretching.
And how long at a time are you working out?
Yeah, I work out, I'd say my 3 days a week, it's like a 35-minute workout. Like what I dedicate to myself, aside from like filming something specific for Instagram or whatever. But a lot of my workouts that I actually do, this is my day workout I put on Instagram. Some days it's 10 minutes. I've got kids I'm running off back and forth to school and dancing and hockey. So, some days I only have 10, 15 minutes, but I never don't do anything. I always do something. So whether it's like, I only have 5 minutes before I get out the door, I do something.
Nice. And what kind of diet do you follow?
I follow like the 80-20, where 80% of the time I'm eating healthy foods, and I really watch my portions. And 20% of the time it's like, I say fun, something I normally wouldn't, they wouldn't can be considered that healthy. Like it might be French fries or pizza or whatever that is. Like I said, I focus on protein. I don't restrict myself from anything. I don't really drink alcohol though. I enjoy a drink, I'd say maybe once every 3 or 4 months. So I don't say I don't ever drink. I think anything in moderation, that's my belief, is anything in moderation, and what is the definition of moderation? It can be different for certain things, but, I just really enjoy life, and I make healthy food choices. I look at my plate before I eat it, and I literally look at it and go, how's this going to make me feel? And there's certain things that I would love to eat all the time because I could be a junk food junkie, but I know it wouldn't make me feel good afterwards. So I really do make healthy food choices most of the time, just because I love, number one, I love the way it makes me feel. And I know that it's better for me.
It's a mindset. It's not just about looking better. It's about feeling sharper and more energized.
And it got easier as I aged. The older I get, I realize, gosh, you really have to be mindful of what you put in your body if you want to have a long, healthy life. It's my body. I want to keep it healthy. So it's my choice, Yeah.
I love that you mentioned that you only work out 35 minutes, because there's this big misconception that you have to be in the gym for 1 hour, 2 hours to get your workout in. And it's not the length of time that you do it, it's what you're actually doing in that time that matters. Exactly. So, thank you for highlighting that. Yeah. Do you have any simple science-backed exercise for women that can get started today if they were interested in getting the fitness journey going, and how to rebuild the muscles?
So you'd say science-backed things?
Yeah, science-backed things or suggestion or...
Yeah, I would just say, like, once again, going back to strength training, that's crucial. You have to add that. Pilates is great. Yoga is great. All the other things are great. But I always go back to, and I always tell the clients that I train is, and they tell me all the things, I'm doing this now and I'm doing that now. And Pilates is amazing, and so is yoga. But strength training, you have to do. That's crucial. If you want to increase your longevity, you want to balance your hormones, you want to feel better and increase your metabolism. And then 2, increase your protein. And it takes some work. It does, it can't be all or nothing. It can't be, forget, it's too hard to keep track. Like, just really every time you eat food, make sure you have protein in that meal. That's the best, if that's the best you can do, that's better than, not doing it. And then I would say maybe the third thing I'd say is really just kind of watch your alcohol intake, because that's a big, I think just from a lot of the people that I interview, is a lot of people drink and they need to have that glass of wine daily or a couple of glasses of wine. It really does affect how you sleep. It affects your skin. Your entire body. So I'd say that's in moderation as well. So, maybe take a look at that. And consistency is key, you know, because it doesn't have to be all or nothing. If you only have 5 or 10 minutes, believe it or not, you can do, I mean, if you set a timer for 5 minutes and did 3 exercises, squat, push-ups, and a plank, you know, 3 sets of those in 5 minutes, you'd be surprised that you're like, wow, that was actually really challenging. It took me 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So,
You know, there's one question I want to ask you. You know, being a mom of 7, that's
yeah.
impressive. Congratulations on that.
Thank
It's
you.
not easy. And, you know, a lot of women just say, I don't have time between child, between husband, between work. There's just not enough time to focus on their fitness journey. So I want to know for you, what is that one thing, that one bold thing that you have done or that has gotten you to this point in life? If you had to look back, what was the one thing?
You know, I never looked at it as, I don't think I've ever looked at it as like making like a guilt thing, like, oh my gosh, or a selfish thing. I'm exercising and the kids they need me right now. I always looked at it as I need to prioritize my health and increase my energy levels and make me feel good so that I can actually feel good for everyone else around me. So I always set that time aside no matter what it was. You know, like maybe the day before, in my mind, I would say, tomorrow I know it's going to be a busy day, but what time during the day can I actually fit in 5 or 10 minutes? And I made a point of doing it. So I made it an appointment, almost like a doctor's appointment that I did not cancel. And set it at a time that you know that it's going to be doable, whether I had to get up 15 minutes before the kids got up or when they were taking a nap. You know, if I put the kids in the crib and taking a nap, I would do something for 15 minutes or 10, whatever that was. But I always made it, to simplify, I always made it a priority because I knew that it was going to benefit everyone else around me.
Nice.
I think a lot of women feel guilty. You know, you go, oh my gosh, you know, the kids need me and my husband needs me and the house needs to get, like, put that all aside and take care of yourself first so that you can give to the ones that you love around you. You know what I mean?
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's back to the mask airplane analogy, right? Before you put on their mask, you put on your mask first, and
100%.
then you can help the child. Well, Dallas, this has been eye-opening. Thank you so much for joining us. I mean,
Thank you for having me again. I love it. Yeah. Nice to meet you, Dr. Daisy, as well.
Yeah, Dallas, my pleasure.
I'll have to look you up when I'm in Houston.
Yeah, I'm here for you now that we're neighbors.
I'll definitely do that.
Now, most of us don't think about muscle health as a key to looking and feeling young, but we've just made it clear in this episode, it's one of the biggest missing pieces in the conversation around aging. And for anyone who wants to learn more about Dallas's training programs, you could check her out at fitmomof7.com, where she offers one-on-one online coaching for fitness and nutrition, customized for busy women, especially over 40. And of course, follow her on the gram at fit_mom of7 for daily fitness, strength training, and wellness tips. Stay strong, stay confident, and we'll see you next time on the Polished Beauty segment. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this. A Moment of Zen is brought to you by the Polished Beauty Podcast with Dr. Daisy Aim. Hey, ambitious women, ready to shine on the inside and out? Tune in to the Polished Beauty Podcast, where we talk about business, beauty, brains, and body all in one spot. Meet Dr. Daisy Aim, triple board certified cosmetic surgeon, pro-aging advocate, fitness enthusiast, and your go-to for real talk on leveling up every part of your life. The Polished Beauty Podcast is your dose of ambition meets empowerment. For more information, head to polishedbeautypodcast.com.
A Moment of Zen is sponsored by FinTech TV.
FinTech TV, the newest streaming channel focused exclusively on the business of blockchain, digital assets, and sustainability. Broadcasting from our studio on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with daily reports from NASDAQ, global expansion, and 24/7 coverage. Become part of the launch. Head to fintech.tv/invest. Fintech.tv/invest.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Welcome to FinTech TV. I'm Remy Blair. Goldman Sachs' 1 Million Black Women Black in Business program is dedicated to equipping sole proprietors with the tools necessary to turn their business potential into business growth. Today I'm joined by Nakia Cook, CEO and founder of NC Accounting and Consulting Solutions. She is also the recipient of the 2024 WNY Small Business Association Financial Champion of the Year Award. Nakia, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, we know that many Americans and many young Black women aspire to be entrepreneurs. So tell me what has worked for you in your entrepreneurship journey.
Just being authentic and being myself. I think that really just translated into me being able to provide my services, starting off with just enhancing my community in financial literacy and helping them just understanding that they can make money, but make the money work for you.
And you also just was awarded this award by the state for SBA. So that is a significant award. And I think what makes you unique is that you also work with small businesses as well. So tell me about this journey.
Well, it started, I guess, in college, to be honest. I would help students fill out their FAFSA. So I would sit in a corner and then helping them fill out their FAFSA and then again helping them do budgets. But I don't like to say budgets because it sounds restrictive. So I say spending plans. You're going to spend your money anyway, so let's just plan where to spend it. And then through college, it just elevated to me going into small businesses, helping them with taxes and bookkeeping. And then it went to financial statements and just the overall understanding of the numbers, cash flow, the ins and outs. And it's just where my heart is.
And because you have been on this journey for such a long time, I'm sure you have a few secrets as well as recipes for your success. So for other young Black women who are watching, what is your message to them?
Just be yourself. Your tribe will come to you. You don't have to, try to go out and make yourself fit in. You'll fit in just authentically and automatically just by providing the services or products or whatever it is that you want to do, especially if it comes from the heart. So if it comes from the heart and you're just doing all the things to give back and serve, then you'll do great. So I think just being authentic along your journey and following your gut, like just knowing that when your heart tells you something, go with that.
And you were part of this Goldman Sachs program, the 5th cohort. So tell me about the most valuable lesson you learned from the program.
The most valuable lesson I would have to say is just being transparent, open, and just willing to learn and to just engage with others. I think me being in other programs within Buffalo, New York, where I'm from, it just didn't pull me in or gravitate as Goldman Sachs did. And I think the reason is because they give their all and they put everything into you. So it's like, why not show up for yourself? And I think once I did that, my business catapulted, and I'm just extremely grateful for the program.
And last but not least, Nakia, you just received an award. So we are heading into the second half of 2024. What's next for you and your business?
Just more contracts. Like I said, the program just assisted me, hitting $250,000. So I'm just ready to go forward. It's nothing, I think there's no boundaries. And I'm just so grateful for that with the program. And just going forward, it's collecting more awards and just, being fun and having fun with numbers. And that's what I like to do, is just engaging with money, numbers, and just letting people know that your story right now isn't the end. It just keeps going. So your testimony is a testament to everything that you've been through.
Well, Nakia, congratulations on completing the program and, of course, for receiving the award. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Your Home TV with Kathy Ireland and their channel partners. Head to yourhometv.com for free, family-friendly programming, streaming 24/7.
Are you looking to build a new home? Think about building a barn-dominium. There's just something about getting away from it all. Country living, fresh air, and outdoor entertainment. Watch luxury barn-dominium tours on Your Home TV and let Stacy Lynn, the barn-dominium lady, take you on a journey through her barn-dominium designs.
Tune in to A Moment of Zen, Saturday nights from 9 to 10 p.m. on 710 WOR, the voice of New York.
Well, that's a wrap, my dear friends. Remember to join me right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, every Saturday night from 9 to 10 p.m. Or you could head to 710WOR.iHeart.com/A Moment of Zen. Also, remember that we're live on Traverse TV Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern. You can download the Traverse TV app for free. We're on YouTube Sundays at 2 p.m. Eastern, and all episodes of A Moment of Zen is available on your home TV and Kathy Ireland worldwide streaming platform. You could head directly to our channel. It's free programming to you at mox.yourhometv.com. Thank you for listening to us. It's been an absolute pleasure being your host. Thanks again to all of our sponsors that continue to make this show possible. And remember that happiness is the only thing that multiplies when you share it. We'll be back next week.